Oh, yes, of course. Try it again.
Yeah, one more time.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. You're all set?
You cannot talk or listen until the host admits you to the meeting.
Try now. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Yeah, but what we want is something coming out of the computer. All right, yeah, let me try picking it up.
Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to the Transportation Committee meeting of Tuesday, January 19th of 2020. Tomorrow is January 20th. Day we're looking forward to. I'm Mike Bonin, chair of the committee, joined today by my colleagues Paul Koretz and Joe Buscaino. If you are joining us remotely today, because that's how we're doing these meetings during the pandemic, and you would like to offer public comment on any items on the agenda, you may do so by calling 669-254-5252 and using the meeting ID 161-750-5079, and then press pound, and then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. And then once you're admitted into the meeting, press pound 9 or star 9 to request to speak. I'll repeat that again. If you'd like to offer public comment, call 669-254-5252 and use the meeting ID 161-750-5079, and then press pound. And press pound again when prompted for the participant ID. And once you're in the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. And Mr. Bruins will help you. So colleagues, we have a rather brief agenda today. I was going to recommend items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 for consent, unless you'd like to call any of those special. No? Okay. Okay. Is there a second? Mr. Koretz?
Mr. Chair, was there an amendment that you want to do for 6A?
Apparently there is, yes. There is a technical amendment for item 6A. If you could read that into the record, please.
Yes, if we can just delete the language that refers to a 30-day requirement to post the signs.
Okay, we will do so. So items 1, 2, 3, and 5, and then item 6 as amended. We need to do a roll on this. Yes, Mr. White?
Yes, sir. Is there any public comment submitted for these items?
There is public comment. We don't know yet which items it's on.
Okay.
Okay,
Did
so
you want to take multiple comment before you act on this, Mr.?
multiple public comment, yes.
Okay.
Okay. We will take public comment now. We will start with the caller with the last 4 digits, 1403. You should be, please unmute yourself and identify which items you'd like to speak on.
Happy New Year, niggas. All items, general public comment.
Okay. You have 2 minutes for items on the agenda and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Excellent. See how the nice gentleman handles things, Mr. Blob and Blow. That's how you do it. Now, I see you got lots of tow truck restrictions on overnight parking. Most of this is going on in CD7. You don't want niggas in CD7. All you gotta do is put up a sign that says no niggas. You don't have to do all this fancy dancing around with things like no parking 2 a.m. to 6 and one of them says 10 to 6. That's not what's going on. You just don't want no niggas parking their cars and sleeping. That's all in these rich, white motherfucking neighborhoods. So just put up a sign, white people here, niggas not welcome there. And that will get down to the issues at hand. And then, of course, I want to thank Paul Koretz for letting me drive my old taxi, my vintage 2010 taxi. I was going to have to buy a new one, but you're going to let me grandfather my ride, to ride my ride. And I really need that in the 11th district, and I'm picking up all those hoes and drugs and delivering the drug down there in the corner of Venice Boulevard and Sepulveda, Mike Farnham's favorite hangout, if you know what I mean, boo. So if you want drugs, you want prostitutes at the best possible price, get off the 405 freeway underneath the freeway pass in Sepulveda Boulevard in Venice. And we get you anything and everything you want. Yes, sir. That's how we do business here. And of course, I won't talk about free transportation. I appreciate free dashes, but I want free rides on all the trains. So that when I go, and I go into the white, and I get back to my ghetto, I know I'm saving my money not having to pay to ride on a dirty, filthy, homeless infested fucking train. That's what happens. So again, representing for the neighborhood, transportation niggers, a 501c4 advocacy nonprofit pending group of folks that want to ride.
All right, cut him off.
Thank you.
Cut him off.
Your time is
Cut him
expired.
off. Off topic.
Oh,
Cut him off. Is off topic. Just using the word transportation before the N word does not qualify as being on topic. So he's done.
Okay. Next caller with the last four digits, 7660. Please unmute yourself and identify yourself and which items you'd like to speak on. Last four digits, 7660. Please unmute yourself. Okay, moving on. Last four digits, 4617. Please unmute yourself and identify which items you'd like to speak on. Last four digits, 4617. Press *6 to unmute yourself. Okay. One more chance for caller last four digits, 7660. Press *6 to unmute yourself if you would like to speak. Okay. I think that concludes public comment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruins. So that concludes public comment for the meeting. So again, the items that we're about to vote on for consent are items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 as amended. Mr. White, let's take a roll.
Good afternoon, council members. The action is to approve items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. 6 with an amendment. Mr. Koretz, did you have a modification?
Yes, I would like to call item 3 special for some brief comments.
So that'll be 1, 2, 5, and 6. 6A with the amendment from the CLA. I will take a roll call vote. Mr. Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Mr. Koretz.
Koretz, aye.
Mr. Buscaino.
Aye.
Those actions are approved, council members.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's head to item number 3.
Item number 3 is a Koretz-Bachmann motion instructing LADOT with the assistance of the CLA and the CAO to report relative to the impact of COVID-19 on DASH operations, operators, and staff, and any ongoing or forecasted disruptions to service.
Mr. Koretz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to say, while we're waiting for the report back, there are a couple of things I'd like the department to look at without waiting for a report back. And I've received a number of complaints, particularly from one frequent DASH rider who has filmed and photographed and documented the fact that these buses are usually driven with closed windows and frequently with drivers not wearing masks. If it's helpful, I have the ability to provide the department with that documentation. Primarily, I would just like to, rather than wait for a report back, for them to take action to make it clear to their drivers that they need to, at least at the beginning of their routes, open all the windows in their buses, or at least some of them, so we have some circulation, and that they need to wear a mask at all times. We know we are having high amounts of spread among drivers and passengers, and certainly if the drivers are contributing to that, it's to no one's advantage, including theirs. So I'd like to hear if the department is aware of this as an ongoing problem, and if they have taken any actions to date to try and deal with it. And I don't know if we have the appropriate staff to answer, but hopefully so.
Yes, this is Corinne Ralph, Chief of Transit at LADOT, of course. We have not heard any reports of drivers not wearing masks. I know the drivers are particularly concerned with riders not wearing masks, and because of that, we have been actually having masks on board to hand out to any rider who has boarded a bus without a mask. We know that it's a mandate from the county, and I am relatively surprised to hear that drivers are not wearing masks. But what we will do right away is to take a look, convey that information to our contractor, MV, to verify the concerns that you've shared. The other thing is, in terms of the windows being opened, we have not directed the contractor to have the windows open as a matter of policy. And so again, with as you mentioned, we will have this discussion with the contractor to determine what is, if there's any reason why it shouldn't happen at all times once the buses are in service. So both items we will confirm, double check, and ascertain that this is happening, and then take the necessary corrective action.
Thank you. And if you need the documentation that we receive from constituents, we will be happy to forward those to you. Just contact my office.
Yes. Thank you, we will.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will approve that item, and
So let's take a roll call vote for approving item number 3. Will be
you.
Councilmember Bonin,
Aye.
Councilmember Koretz,
Aye.
and Councilmember Buscaino.
Aye.
Number 3 is recommended for approval.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to our final item, item number 4.
Item number 4 is an LADOT report relative to the status of the Next Gen Bus Speed Engineering Working Group, including the implementation of the first dedicated bus lanes on priority corridors and initiating community engagement on additional corridors.
Okay, is Dan Mitchell going to present on this one?
Yes, good afternoon, council members.
Hey, Dan.
I am happy to report that since the last time I presented to you on this topic, Metro and LADOT, in cooperation with Streets LA, have made significant progress in implementing bus speed improvements through bus lanes in downtown Los Angeles. Building on the success of the Flower Street bus-only lane, the department, working with Metro and again, Streets LA's ADAPT program, implemented new bus lanes on 5th and 6th Streets from Flower Street to Central Avenue. And the department also incorporated protected bike lanes along that segment east of Spring Street. So it's been a significant overhaul of the way that those two streets have been working, and a great opportunity through Streets LA's ADAPT program, their rapid resurfacing program, that we're able to implement those in quick fashion. The department did the design on those, and Metro assisted significantly with the outreach along with the department. In addition to the rollout on 5th and 6th Street, the working group also identified a significant congestion point for buses on Aliso Street. That was a critical link that was missing from the existing bus lane on Spring Street along Aliso to Alameda. And in that segment, the department also supported Metro. In this case, Metro's contractor installed those lanes with support from LADOT staff. That was the 5th and 6th Street was installed in June, and Aliso was installed in September. And with 5th and 6th Streets, those bus lanes operate from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with over 80 buses per hour using those streets, which equates to about one bus every 45 seconds. On Aliso Street, that bus-only lane operates 24/7, and they have over 60 buses per hour on Aliso Street, about one bus every minute, and that provides the critical connection to the 10 freeway express lanes, which is a significant benefit to bus riders going to Cal State LA, the USC LA County Medical Center, and the San Gabriel Valley. The department also had the opportunity to pilot a raised curb treatment along one block of Aliso Street, which we hope will provide better compliance with the bus lane and help keep the bus lane clear and working efficiently. In addition, on Grand and Olive downtown, also in cooperation with the ADAPT program, this runs from Pico through roughly 5th Street. And in that segment, when the streets were resurfaced, there were existing bike lanes on those streets, and the department relocated the bike lanes to the left side and converted them to protected bike lanes to provide the opportunity for future bus lanes on the right side of the street. And so outreach regarding Olive and Grand is going to begin this spring. And in addition to bus lanes, the working group also identified what's called a bus signal queue jumper, and that's a special traffic signal that allows the bus to get a green light ahead of the regular traffic. And that is on 5th Street at Flower. At that location, there are over 700 daily boardings and lightings, but bus drivers need to maneuver across all lanes of traffic to get over from the right side where the bus stop is, over across the 110 freeway on-ramps, over to the left side to continue west. And so the department, working with Metro, identified the design for that, and Metro's contractor is going to install that this upcoming spring. And the last significant item I have looking ahead is the first bus lane outside of downtown is in development. The working group is moving forward with Alvarado from Sunset to Wilshire. And this project proposes to repurpose an existing peak hour travel lane to improve bus speed and reliability. This is southbound during weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and northbound weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. in the afternoon. Riders in Alvarado are primarily Latino, 77%, and female, 52%, over the age of 35, who do not own vehicles. About 94% of them do not own vehicles and rely on bus service to connect them to jobs and services 5 days a week or more. So expected bus time benefits for Alvarado provide more frequent service that gets riders to the destination faster, provides increased bus frequency from every 10 minutes to every 7, and reduced bus travel time by 3 minutes end to end. So Metro is beginning stakeholder outreach this month with community meetings to follow. And then, of course, looking ahead, the working group will continue meeting to identify the next phase of corridors and appropriate treatments. And we will share that more with you in the next quarterly report. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Dan. That was a great report. I'm unaccustomed to staff reports that are sort of a rat-a-tat-tat of positive stuff after positive stuff after positive stuff. And not only is sort of the individual things that you reported on positive, but I got to say I'm really impressed by the level of partnership and coordination between the city and Metro. I mean, it really seems to, having looked at it from both sides, both on the Metro board and here, it's uncharacteristically good, and I hope it's the new normal. And I'm just curious, how much of that is a new dynamic that has sort of been worked on, and how much of it is just a byproduct of different dynamics on the ground right now because of COVID?
Well, I think it's really both. It's a result of relationships that we have been building for many years. A very proactive, forward-thinking team on both the Metro planning side and the LADOT design and operations side. And so I think that we've been working very well together as a team. An important component has been the community outreach, which, of course, during the pandemic is a little bit challenging. But our community engagement team working very well with Metro's team and helping to get the word out. And then, of course, the dynamics on the street provide an opportunity as well with focused policy direction on improving bus speeds. Then it's created the opportunity, along with the partnership with Streets LA, to make a real difference on the ground.
That's great. I mean, the need for this was tremendous before the pandemic, and I think as those of us in public office take seriously the obligation to build back better, having this in place is even more important, because this isn't just some sort of abstract concept about what we think would make good policy or good planning. This is a real world, data positive impact for a lot of our essential workers. Have no other way to get to and from work. And I really appreciated that you broke down the demographics of the people that are benefiting from some of the changes we're making. So thanks on that. Mr. Buscaino-Carretz, anyone have any questions? Mr. Carretz.
Just a quick one that's slightly off topic. How helpful has the Wilshire peak hour bus lane effort been? I certainly know it's impacted stalling driver traffic a little bit, but you see the buses zip along. It's obviously beneficial anecdotally, but do we know how much time it saves on a typical trip?
I don't have those stats prepared. Of course, the Wilshire bus lanes were preceded this particular effort, but was a major multi-year effort to create dedicated lanes during the peak hour across the city. They have made a significant difference, but I will check in with my friends at Metro to see what stats they had. Particularly before the pandemic, I think that's probably where we would see the most benefit. Right now, with the unusual traffic patterns, it's hard to tell. I do know that those lanes have struggled a bit with drivers who are parking in them during the peak hours when they're supposed to be dedicated for buses, and that we've been looking at how to be most efficient in keeping those bus lanes clear.
Yeah, I'm just watching them because I've had some night meetings that I go to regularly on Wilshire pre-pandemic. For the most part, it looked like most drivers are pretty good about not parking until about the last 5 minutes. So you probably just have to recognize you lose 5 minutes. It's not worth towing away dozens of cars that jump in early. But I would be curious, one, as to whether it increased ridership, and two, how much time it saves to the typical rider.
Okay, I will look into that and see what stats my friends at Metro will be able to share, and we'll forward those to your office.
The rest of this all sounds very promising, so thank you for the good work on it.
And I look forward to the day when the Wilshire Lane can be seamless from the west coast of Santa Monica all the way downtown. Then it'll really be even more successful. And for the record, I'm going to thumbs up on that one from Mr. Kretz. Just want to know. Okay, do we have anything else on? We're going to receive this item. Do we have anything else on the agenda?
No, there isn't.
Nope.
Let's take a quick vote on that receive and file action, council member, for item number, that's 4. Mr. Bonin.
Aye.
Mr. Koretz.
Aye.
Mr. Buscaino.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So seeing no further business, the desk is clear and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.